Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this week's Tuesday review video. I finally bought something from Glamlite. If you don't remember or haven't heard of Glamlite, sort of towards the end of the big beauty guru boom of like 2016, 2017, they're the ones that started coming out with like the burger palette, the taco palette, like all these food themes. And over the years, they've actually grown to do a couple of, quite a big couple of collabs with like influencers and big IP. I think they have a Barbie collab, they have like a Scooby-Doo collab, but recently they launched a Chucky collab. And if you watch my channel, you know that out of all of the sort of horror icons, Chucky, I don't dislike Chucky, but I'm more of a Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, that sort of thing stan than Chucky. But once I saw what the eyeshadow palette looked like, I had to have it because it's colors that are right up my alley. So I hopped on the interwebs, and the day that it launched, the minute it launched, I did a pre-order. I haven't done that since the first round of Hocus Pocus with ColourPop, the second round, whichever one. It felt so good to do a pre-order as soon as it launched again. So this is the Chucky / Tiffany Crazy in Love eyeshadow palette by Glamlite. On the back it says, "Legends never die. In honor of celebrating the 35th year anniversary of Chucky, Chucky and Tiffany have teamed up with Glamlite to create the most killer makeup collection in history. Inspired by the infamous killer doll love story, the Chucky and Glamlite palette is all you need to create endless, to die for makeup looks. It's time to blend for your life and play to the end." On the Glamlite website, it says that this palette is $32 American, I'm assuming. It does say it's cruelty-free and vegan, which I find interesting because the shades in this palette are all sort of like reddish, and typically that's made with carmine, which is not a vegan product, so I think that's interesting. The frustrating thing with this is that right now it's on like a second round pre-order. I don't know if they're gonna keep doing pre-orders or how long, so I don't know if by the time you're seeing this video, if you're gonna be able to buy this palette still. But it might just serve this video as kind of like a, is Glamlite worth trying? So I hope you get that from it. I've heard in the past that mirrors in Glamlite's eyeshadow palettes can be a little wonky, a little funhousey. I'm happy to report that this one is not funhousey. This one is fine. When we open the palette and we look at the color selection, like I said, right up my alley, all cool tones, purplies, reddies. There's like a nice like army green up here, a couple of shiny shades. The only thing that this is really missing for me is like sort of like a bone shade, because that's, I just feel like it's nice to have that in a palette to even it out, to like use that as my brow shade or just to set everything down. Because I'm so pale, I can do that. And there's so many different variations of black in here. You got two different shiny blacks down here, the black matte down here, that I really feel like you could have taken one of those out and put it like sort of a bone shade. The lightest we get is this one up here that's called Wanna Play, and that's like a really shimmery silver. So before I talk about this palette and my experience with it, spoiler, it is the palette I'm wearing today, I'm going to show you some swatches. We're going to do some good old-fashioned swatches. So let's just get to that footage of the swatches. now that you've seen all of that, these swatches actually came off my very pale inner arm quite easily. I was very proud of it, and I also don't find that they stain my eyelids. Now, that's not to say that it's not going to stain for everybody. It might stain, especially if you're really, really pale, but for me, we're very lucky. These reddish shades don't stain for me, even though I do believe Glamlite has them classified as pressed pigments. Yes, there's 3 shades that are eyeshadows. The rest are all considered pressed pigments. They are quite that, in my opinion. Very, very pigmented. This is not a palette for the faint of heart. You're going to get the shade, and you're going to get a lot of it, and if you're not careful, it can be a little fussier to blend out than something that's a little more beginner-friendly like ColourPop. They really stick on where you put them, and they're blendable, but you just have to be careful that you're not applying too much product. The first couple times I wore this palette, I definitely used too much, and I had to like take it off and start all over again. The 2 ways that I wear this palette is kind of the way I have it today, which is starting with the lighter red shades and then building up the red, or I do the same thing but with the sort of more purpley shades. The only eyeshadow I have on today that is not from this palette is my lid shiny red shade, but in my little tutorial for you here, I didn't put that on there yet, so it's not included in that, so don't worry about it. Overall, I actually quite like this palette. Like I said, it's missing that sort of bone shade that I personally need, but I understand that that's not everybody's, cup of tea. This palette has given me the want to try other things from Glamlite in the future if they put out something else that I really want. We're sort of over that buy everything from brand phase that we were all through back in the day. So if they do another collab, or not even a collab, just like something that I look at and I'm like, that is a palette that I can actually see myself using, the way I looked at this one, the way I looked at unfortunately Cremated by Jeffree Star, I looked at that and said I would use all of that. Stone Fox, is that what it's called, by ColourPop? Like, those sorts of could be ashier on darker skin tones, but on me they just make me look dead, which is ideal. Those sorts of things I find I really, really like, and they really work with my skin tone. When the sort of warm tones were all the rage a couple of years ago, that did not work for me. It just looks like bleh, orange, and not even a good orange on me. It just looks like something's gone wrong somewhere. These are the shades for me. I really like it. I really like this palette. I think it's put together very nice. I love that it's Chucky and Tiffany. In my opinion, that's the best movie of the franchise, is Bride of Chucky. And overall, I just think if you're into these more gothy shades, this is a really nice palette. And like I said, it makes me want to try other things from Glamlite in the future. And I just think the sort of, how do I show you? The shift? Yeah, there we go. The shift in the front, I just think it's so much fun. I love when brands do like that little extra. It doesn't take much. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention. We stand a magnetic closure in this house. I don't mind cardboard packages. I don't. Just cardboard. But once you give me that magnetic closure, perfect, beautiful, amazing. $32 American is not that bad for an eyeshadow palette when you consider that Urban Decay is charging like $90 for the naked palettes. So honestly, I quite like it. It makes me want to try other things from Glamlite. And I don't really have very many complaints other than I have to be very careful with how much product I have on the brush. I swirl it in and then I really tap it off, because if I'm not careful, I'm just going to get like a splooge of color. Not a lot of fallout though, not in my experience. I don't have to clean up underneath after, but just like it can be a little more difficult to blend out if I'm not careful. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video on the Crazy in Love palette by Glamlite. Got me looking so crazy right now, you love. Got me looking so crazy right now. Their collab with Chucky and Tiffany, I guess. I look forward to more Glamlite things in the future. I really hope more brands decide to cater towards us gothier, witchier people, because I will buy that shit up. I'll do it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you next time. Bye!